Sibuya. Over at Chicha. The first thing they do is to get you. Yeah. The only thing you want to keep you is to make a monkey. We see you can let me hear. I don't get about that. I might have for the message. I don't know what I say. Nonsense. But trouble will make it here by increase. All of them working in the message. Lion, somebody promote to Character Bunia. Egana, one year to go. Massian said, Give them a let's it up what? Abraham, when I'm not going to know, yeah, the number of you, but let's have with him again. I don't say about this way, they make the 1 year, 2 years, yes, when they live on order. Only the Nara motor matter. Only had to wear bomber to bomber. Case. The letter in the TV, you have to go to know what you call my head. He now remember to go back there. Go river. The man has here, he had it over. God, I let you for it. Not the people is very also. I bet you know, but I'm able to lot out like 50,000. 1 year, the man said, "Oh, baby, sour." Look at that. Then feast and room now. Oh, me allow with him, or this is what I want. Oh, you can buy him now. You don't have to let push here, every put energy, let push here to grow. They have prayer or no. If you walk out, what it can be easy that you can have your million email. I say, he can put them to our here. They have to hear you. So, yeah, I know. Here, a woman, we have to do my hour again. Like Eva, I can put more at the wall for. After some time, man, agency. He lay hands on game. Every time you put the email, you have never expected from what I feel. But now, but you are. He lay hands on game, or give me money and all of it. Just any money like this makes it down. Man, or somebody, a money with a farmer. Me that I know line. At times, they don't mark at the man, but they don't for the Putuno Maziano, made in ECC Soto. Nothing in a lonely place. You will get a go, or if you want a phone, give me more. Just keep quiet, don't make noise. We reach in our 3 years, they got home, result in a happy. Only can I back in hand, they don't know. Even can I have my voice, only can I back in it. But they make a different when you get any book, anything nature, yes, I do. So along the line, because my mind do not to cover me this level that all of you are farmers. Must I human being by farmers? Just for example. No, I'm not talking. No thought now. Even of today, more than ever, we have a people. As you mean, Nini Bilala. Every year we farm a company, give Wala, a like the bigger company. That you got to the landlord, when you Wala. Say, I like you, they like Rala, actually company bar. Dinner agreement. Agreement, I must see, we have a good. Why you want to die? So that you don't allow him company. Anybody when I do is Guinea member, Garcia, no idiot, he will around. I will buy him at a single member. So then you ain't got the war. More than the Gisia from every Dota. On here, or you want to send when you get a charger. Then, as a farmer now, give that to new one. Say, I like Rala, that's why I call the person I get. Get one over, they give me a food. Yesterday, I called me. To me, the landlord was here, Masayano. The case was going to call the matter. You remember, guess what I say? God for local, the aqua wire. Every child, all boys, he does it, he does our, he does not want to. Does he have taken a house or you're buying a share dying apple? Then they could try up, but when you must have the landlord. The landlord will be holding that spot up bar. The spiritual parties in Akaya connect with the landlord. Then after going to the money in the house, in the Negin and the it was a cock, you were a talker. And remember, they call in 3 months time, they got that doctor. A child called the over the alcohol, so the age, they will give a war. They don't want to know why you had a coke how you put. I don't want to put a call, you can take years. Yeah, you want to check on it. And then I got it now, we want to take years. Nagende kolonya hankoro kia bang ya bang. No ya will be best no. Nige jima na kukeli. And give me one attempt. You wait in down. How you go down? Cause I ain't dying good move. Gana pesi ya here. Poor. Niye lipi agagari biaya. All the can do hulota to our police. But here one you. Boy, everybody you. Mother got all of the thing in a frequency when I even can't cause. So when you are Catholic member in water and pray. Our forefathers were each family. That can hear the kind of DJ. So, you know why they make a morana, they go in number 2, but we don't know. The Njoku festival that we all are waiting for. Today's date, October 17th. All right. Taught us about Njoku, the benefits of Njoku, and the blessings. Today I want to just talk briefly. I got very brief because of the celebration today. I'll be talking briefly about some things that people misinterpret about nature or about tradition. Is there any such like all merciful God? Does God forgive? Now, many people are taking Christian idealism into tradition. By Christian idealism, it means what things ought to be in their own mind through the human sense. But in tradition, when we talk of tradition, we're talking of nature. Tradition is the same thing as nature. There are mistakes too that our people make. And where argument people name ordinala and omenala versus omenala. Some claim that ordinala, those things are the natural that God made, while omenala, those things that men instituted.
So who will tell us the difference between ordinal and omenala? Because this is a lot of argument that people have been making. Can somebody out there, even out there online, can somebody tell us the difference between omenala and ordinala?
Those things that nature has made available for mankind.
Okay.
While omenala is the way of living of people on earth.
There, if you go online, a lot of argument about this. Our language as Igbos differ from place to place. Is there any doubt in that?
No.
Now, the Imolites and the Abian don't know what is called ordinala.
Yes.
When you're saying ordinala, you're talking gibberish. It means the same thing as telling them chinchonchu. What they call ordinala, what you call the Anambra, the Enugu call ordinala, is what they call omenala. It's a matter of linguistic preference. It is one thing, the way of nature. That's what both ordinala and omenala means. The way of nature. Sometimes people, there are emergency traditional practitioners who have arisen in recent times, who try to use their mundane mind to interpret holy things. There's no interpretation you will give to omenala or ordinala and you separate them. It's just the same thing being described by one man according to his tradition, while the other one is also described according to his linguistic tradition. Are we communicating? You tell them this is not what matters. And we don't do things because our fathers did it. Now, in our practice of our tradition, Igbo tradition is not superior to nature. Anything you are doing that is not in harmony with nature is not omenala, it's not a way of life, and so we must question it with a view to find out the best way to go about it. Are we communicating? That is why we are different in some of the things you see us do. We don't do things because that's how our fathers did it. We want to know the reason behind what our fathers did, so that we can improve on it with the knowledge that our children will improve on whatever we are doing. Our forefathers could not keep written records. Those that were able to keep symbolic records had the symbolic record destroyed by the white man when they came to Africa. They realized that the Igbos are a threat to them. That not only were we a republican people that rule ourselves, that don't need the command of a king, we were also a scientific nation, that we are already producing modern appliances in the form of metals and metal weapons. And so the first thing they had to do is to destroy any history so that they create their history. That is why they brought the history of Jesus and all the cohorts in order to capture you. And they tell you can't take over the house of a strong man except you first tie him. And so how do they bind you? Disinformation. So anybody arguing about women and nothing like is simply a slave to disinformation. We are talking about the way of nature. Nobody can succeed in a war against nature. The purpose of our tradition is to tune you into harmony with the way part of nature, so that life will cease to be a struggle. If anything you're doing is not in harmony with the ways of nature, you will have that thing unraveled, no matter how much effort you make. That is why when you acquire wealth through any means or methods that destroys the society, that destroys human life, that destroys the environment, that wealth does not last in your generation. It gets wasted away. But when a man acquires wealth by following the laws of nature, you find that his generation will continue expanding from glory to glory. There is nobody called God. There's nobody sitting somewhere called God. God is simply a principle or an energy. Now, the Christian tradition gave a human form to God. But I tell you this, if we are 100 here today, in our mind we have 100 concepts of God. Everybody has his own God that is different from the other person. Does anybody here have doubts about it? If you have doubt, we'll give you the proof. Because the God of your heart is that ideal desire, that ideal that meets up your demand or your desire of nature. And so, when you are somebody that is offering sacrifice by fire, the God of your heart, you call it Ojoko Eriaja. If you're a farmer, you call it bulldozer. Abi, and you give him all the names. Because that principle said, I am an ever-living solution to your needs. It is an ever-present now. God is an ever-present now. God does not live in the future, does not operate in the past. He lives in the now. Are we communicating? And so, that is why you should take life one step at a time. Now, nature does not forgive. There's no such as thing as forgiveness in nature. So there's no all-forgiving God, all-merciful God, all-loving God. Because the ideal of love, as far as somebody is concerned, is putting extra effort in order to please somebody. That's what they understand as love. But sometimes death is also a measure of love. When somebody have killed, it is a sign of love that he will die in order to pay for the price of his action. But will you see that as love? People wouldn't see that as love. God is not mocked, but whatsoever a man sow must he reap. That is the love of God. Sowing and reaping defines the love of God. That is karma. We will be formatting a lot of ideas that people have adopted as tradition in our land. They are not tradition. No tradition encourages you. No tradition in our land encourages you for human sacrifice. No tradition encourages you to hurt another person. No tradition encourages you to steal what belongs to another. Our tradition is based on justice and equity. Our tradition is based on harmony. Oya keji asi egbe belo ugwe belo. Omenanande deliver can guide the lie. CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA na-ekene gị ekekere ụwa na-aja gị mma ọ na-awa ezu oke arịrị na tọtụ ogige anyị ezu oke arịrị udere anyị abịaghị ka anyị tọtụ ngịga anyị achụgo aja chụọ aja chụgharịa aja anyị bịa ka agwa gị na ihe ọma ahụ ebidola na-ejirisi nwa agụ agba aja anyị akpọkuo mmụọ si eke mmụọ si ori mmụọ si afọ mmụọ si nkwọ ka ha kụnye. As we begin today's celebration, I na-enye the sacrifice of thanksgiving. Wee na-akpọ mmụọ si eke ori afọ nkwọ ka ọza ya oku. As we use our mantra to create the required energy to raise the vibration that will usher in the glory of the day. Anyị na-akpọ mmụọ si eke ori afọ nkwọ abazo as we chant Sakakanyura. Anyị si bụ n'ọdụ mmiri ndụ azụ mmiri atụrụ azụ anwụrụ onye biri onye biri anyị nọbụla ebe anyị bụ onwe ya onye isi ala nwa na jeka onwe ike wee chụọ onye si na ihe ọma dịrị anyị mma ihe ọma elukwana ya aka a sị ka anyị na-agụnye nwa ọfọ asị ụbọchị nke taa ahụju ọkụ mmụọ na-enye oke taa download of harvest ngabịa we present the meditations of our hearts as our desires, that the sacrifice we are offering today and all that we have offered shall take the form of these desires to manifest in our life. CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA ri otuto na mbuli elu as the thoughts of our heart manifest as our physical experiences. N'ike CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA. Ọra mmụọ si eke ori afọ nkwọ nekwana ya as we present to you the thoughts of our hearts. I say, "Papa, you and do I need to CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA." Our hearts, God of our understanding, we want to know about CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA. The way how I judge you. I know about more say go there for poor. This is the need. But then I go to try that. Then you never tell you that try that. Then you know what the lady cast on the number. Never tell me I got a number. Leo Teji Adrianama, Leo Talk Adrianama, Leo Temaya Adrianama, as we call on Yeshi goes there. I have up to most of the for the power was say Aneme, or Yadile. I can look right there. As the call on Yeshi Yazel, Mana, if you see what Gabaja, the guy Japuna Traja. I know more than go there for what young one than the home again. Everyone at Synagogue one in it. As I got the room I needed. Then in another Buddha, Muslim Lego with that tracker. And the guy feel very tracker. But not December, not this, I will do this sacrifice throughout December month. And I tried, I get you a power on top of there were every seed planted by these people. They were considered. As I had the open number, the one I'm marking. I don't know what they did. Look at the Labo Lost at the very day. So what's in the time? So the rich go about looking for problems to solve. The rich realize that if he can solve any problem, that he will have money. Sometimes he creates the problem so that he can solve it. But the poor man does not realize this. Rather, he has problem following money. So on our church, they went through one problem, complaining. Now, if you look at the reason behind the creation of COVID-19 was to make money. True of us. Have they not been millionaires? They're millionaires. Now, everyone has some boys. I never, I 15 naira, 20 naira. But the smart ones in the Obodo Ipo, where they are not batego. Not Piando Chere, not Wahan. And in the next few months, I am going to export to China. Because how could you realize that now they enjoy your batego? I can try to where COVID-19. Mama had a bachelor because the Yanabia will also make him African All-Star 22. So that AU 22, African All-Star 22. Now in East Africa, Ndoche will answer to Pachere. Ndoche will answer to Abba Bells. And these are the things we are going to export. Since they have taught us that they will bring COVID-19 to Africa, we will take our own to the environment. And every Haganah with a solution now in Africa. Vaccine, I go with vaccine, I want to have vaccine. So that the average vaccine guy have the agro. We should know how to use what we have, not against our brothers, but to use it. Since they project their evil to us, it is not evil, it is repatriation. Wherever there is a problem, there is money. There is no better place in the world to become wealthy than Africa. There's no better place in the world to become wealthy than Igbo land. But can we do so when we're here? If you can proffer solution to one problem, you are a money. That is the secret of the millionaires. The Facebook you're looking at, the WhatsApp you're looking at, is a solution that was created in order to overcome letter writing. No matter how long will it take for a letter to go. The handset you have today is a solution that bench Nitel, Nigerian Telecommunication, Hora. There are little challenges around you that you can seek for solution. You don't need to wait. If you can go and look around the environment, there is something you can offer them.
So be the motor in on neighbor. In this brief lecture, Basara Ahanjoko Emume Iriji. Onwego Taige Jipue Basai Iriji Maya Otogu Eri. Our great grandfather. Makana, the spirit of Ahanjoko is the god of YAM. Nebugo Gani. Erimuru Ahanjoko Yanada Oruge Mboku Mudre Nobodo Eriwe Bere Chukwu CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA Onyerin de aka ka hapu enwu maka ndị bara na anwụ. I'm just cutting it short. ndị mmadụ na-anwụ dịka n'ụbọchị taata anyị na-agabiga ọtụtụ ihe dị iche iche n'obodo anyị gbakụrụ chi ọdịnala anyị ọ gbakụrụ mmụọ ọzọ ka o nyere anyị aka anyị nwere ike kwe nkwa si na ọ bụ na ihe dị otu a mee na anyị ga-eme nke a dịka ọdịnala Igbo edu wee rịọ Chukwu si ya biko nyere anyị aka n'obodo ya hapụ egwu. Chukwu wee rekwestị n'aka ya na ọ ga-eji nwa ya ruo ahịa njọkụ wee chụọrọ ya aja ya na ada eriwe ekwere wee were nwa ya were bujasịa chụọ aja ya na ada ya wee kọọ ebe ihe tụkwasịchaa ya n'otu n'otu were pieces of these bodies wee tụkwasịchaa n'elu ebe ihe. Then mgbe ọ na-erute ọtụtụ ụbọchị just abalị asatọ ọ bụrụ na ji epuo n'ebe ahụ nkwụ epukwa n'akụkụ ya. Then elegharị anya n'ebe nke ada ebujasịrị ada ji wee chụọ aja ede epuo n'ebe ahụ vegetable epukwa ebe ahụ. Ndị okenye gbakọlata wee sị ebe ọ bụ na Chukwu Okike zara ha arịrịọ ha rịọrọ ya site n'ime ka nke a dịrị na site n'ụbọchị nke taa na the spirit of this yam is the spirit of Ahanjoku or Ahanjoku is the spirit of yam. Ha malitere na-eme ya kwa arọ ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere na-achụ aja nyere Ahanjoku na ada. Ọ bụ otu a ka o si bido na-aga site na mgbe gboo ruo n'ala nri narị ka o bidoro ruo tata. So ka ị mara na this mmemme anyị na-eme is all about agriculture and ihe awụnye ndị gboo na-emebu before duto ịkụ ugbo bụ ihe ha nwere. Ọya wụ onye na-akụ ugbo ọba ji ya na-ebu ibu a na-ahụ ya the richest man.
We'll be welcoming together, we'll be bringing into the arena, we'll be welcoming the man who put together this occasion. The man who invited all of us here, the high priest of CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA Synagogue. And as he comes in, please, to be beating for a high priest. Then Odogu ana batata o ya mere invite all makayaki ko bia here go na abata na agbo egwu na abata. Stand up on your feet and come and do something.
Hey!
I please have a baru ni good morning entertain. Awe ya ko awe. Awe na me go go enjoy. One I please need to know that. I need them come to 7 biasi ang ano do with 1000. Bawo yo wa ba ko. Bawo ya la ku ba ne mo lo ga he wa. Mmadụ 7 gasị ya ga anọ ọdụ with 1000. In fact, unu gwa so sire me so ya 10. Ane bwana meme. Importer, exporter, importer. Odo kebe. Ai bolewo, wasi kome ya nani ya. Wasi kome ya pa ya. Ode put too much. Ode put too much. Dike kebe. Aka wo fanya putara o. Aka wo fanya putara. Aka wo fanya putara. Aka wo. All right. Wala ba do mara. Ode kebe. Yes. Ai bola bo. Yes. For. Aka for. Let's move to the next segment.
Vanessa, mamãe, Rieno, Gono, Zono, Anamasiuno, no. Anamasiuno, no, I bought you poo. Every mind a memo, awful and Igbo can celebrate Oya New Year Festival. Macedonia Dendo, Fuji, Ekeke Rowa. Ọtụtụ okwu adịghị n'ụka mgbede maka na ihe asị na ọ ga-eme eme na o mere. Asị m ka unu bịara, Chukwuokiabiama ga-agọzi unu, ka unu ga-ala, okwu unu ji ala ga-aka ka unu ji wee bịa. above all, man na church achọrọ ya ma achọọ ya, ma ụwa achọrọ ya ma achọọ ya, Biafra ga-enwere onwe ya na Chukwuokiabịama.
Ọ bụ a na-aga na-azọnyekwa steeti nke anyị nọ n'ugwu a n'ime ugwu ahụ ịwa ji ihe anya nwere ji ndị asụrụ asụ nwee ndị ahụrụ ahụ ọwa ọtụtụ ndị dị ebe a mana dịka esi eme ọgwụ ndị eghere nke ahụ nke ahụrụ ahụ ihe dị iche na-adị n'ime ya dịka onye chọrọ ka ya na ọha ndọpụrụ ike ọjị na ụdị ọzọ dị iche iche onye ga-etinye ihe n'akpa ị ga-abịa ebe awara ji etinye ya na ya so ọta na-esi eme ya ndewo dịka m na-awara ji niile mụ nwere onwe mbụ 10,000 na-awara ji
CHUKWUOKIE ọ na-echara ịwara ji ahụ na-ebili ebili chapụta ka a na-agafe dị segment ọsịsọ n'ọnụ ka anyị na-ede. All right. Go on.
Well, I will simply say that the New YAM celebration or festival is the celebration of the new year, the new spiritual year of the Igbo man. Because New YAM represents the beginning of the year in our land. And so it's the beginning of the celebration of the new year. So it's a time we give gratitude for all the cycles of life, the experiences, and then celebrating the newness that nature still provides food for mankind despite all the challenges all around us. So that's all we're celebrating. It's actually a celebration of life.
This Erimuji anawo ihe na-enye God of fertility. Ọ na-eme ka ihe na-aga aga. The more ị na-enye sacrifice to the God of the land, the more you are prosperous. Because ndị beka ibere abịa mezi onwezi ha jiri omenala Igbo kpọrọ ha gwaza na onwe ihe omenala wo, because na gịnị na chọọchị batara gwa ha na omenala warụ. But in the real sense, omenala warụ is the way of our forefathers. The way they lived, the way they served their own gods are different from white man gods. Oh, yeah, it's very, very appalling and disappointing that people now neglect everything on the land, just facing only Jesus, 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 which is very, very wrong. We need to go back to our tradition.
Our God CHUKWUOKIKEABIAMA, according to our tradition, department of Ohanjoko is exactly where we are today. It's where every an Igbo celebrate during this time around. Depends when you choose to do it. Ohanjoko is a god of wealth in our land. Some people call Ohanjoko, some people call her Aboji, some people call her Abarubi. Hebrews call Ohanjoko Eshedai. Some people refuse to celebrate Ohanjoko at their home. They went to church to celebrate him in another names. That's where our problem is coming from. So when you abandon things in your home, went to church, another place to celebrate in another people's language, that is the area. That's where we are getting problems. And that's exactly what we are trying to correct in another way.
Ụfọdụ na-eme ya ka ọ bụrụ na ka ha hụ ohere ha ga-eji rie ji ọhụrụ. Mana anyị na-aga dịpa ka anyị mata gịnị wụ ihe Ohanjoko na-arụ, gịnị ka a na-enye ya, ka a ga-esi mee ya appreciate ka o nwee ike mere gị ihe ọma. Mana ndị ọzọ ụfọdụ na-eme ya n'elu n'elu. And anyị na-achụ ezigbo àjà tupu ụbọchị a anyị na-esi. A nwere ike iji ihe dịka abalị 4 bido ịchụ àjà tupu ya wee mmemme ndị mmadụ abịa. Anyị dịka nke anyị mere na anyị ji efi Igbo chụọ àjà, were ebule chụọ àjà, were ọkụkọ chụọ àjà, ka na-akwadokwa iji nnama kelee ya ma emechaa ya wụ mmemme n'ụbọchị taa. Ụfọdụ na-eme ya ka ọ bụrụ na ha hụrụ ka ọ bụrụ na enyela ha chance iri ji ọhụrụ.
Bye.